If I told you that Bitcoin could reach $200,000 as early as 2025, what would your reaction be? Skepticism, curiosity, hope. Because I'm going to tell you exactly why this prediction is not an exaggeration. And more. I will show you what the top experts in the United States, fund managers, analysts, and institutional investors already know but are not telling the general public. This video is a warning. A serious alert for those who are just starting to invest now, especially if you are between 18 and 30 years old. Because what is about to happen might be the last great opportunity of the decade to build financial freedom from absolute zero, with little capital, but with the right information. You don't need to be a genius, nor have a lot of money saved. But you need to understand what is happening behind the scenes of the global financial market. And this movement has a name: Bitcoin. Most people still see Bitcoin as a risky bet, a bubble about to burst, or a digital casino. But those who truly study, who analyze the halving cycles, the capital flows, the institutional moves, and the shifts in the global macroeconomy, see something else: a silent transition of power. We are moving away from a world based on fiat currency, inflated by governments and central banks, and entering an era of digital scarcity. Bitcoin is the only asset on the planet with a fully predictable supply: 21 million units. It will never exceed that. Meanwhile, trillions of dollars continue to be printed, eroding the population's purchasing power. What do you think the big investors are doing in this scenario? Buying more paper? Or accumulating the only asset that cannot be inflated? The answer is already being written, and those who have eyes to see are already taking action. In the past 24 months, the most powerful financial institutions in the United States have begun to position themselves strongly in Bitcoin. We're talking about companies like BlackRock, Fidelity, ARK Invest, Morgan Stanley. All of them are buying, accumulating, and more importantly, offering Bitcoin to their institutional clients. In 2024, the approval of Bitcoin ETFs in the United States marked the start of a new cycle. Now, pension funds, family offices, and insurance companies have direct access to BTC within regulated platforms. This changes everything. And if you're young and think you've missed the Bitcoin wave, let me tell you something very sincerely. The next wave could be even bigger. And unlike 2020 or 2021, it will come with an institutional capital flow that the crypto market has never seen before. Let's talk numbers. Bitcoin is currently around $60,000. When you hear someone say it could reach $200,000 in 2025, it sounds crazy, doesn't it? But look at the previous cycles. After the 2012 halving, Bitcoin went from $12 to over $1,000. After the 2016 halving, it jumped from $600 to nearly $20,000. And after the 2020 halving, it exploded from $9,000 to almost $70,000. The pattern is there. And in 2024, we had another halving, an event that cuts the issuance of new Bitcoins in half. That means less supply. And if demand continues to grow, as is already happening with ETFs, there's only one consequence: buying pressure and rising prices. Analysts at Standard Chartered, for example, project BTC above $120,000 by the end of 2024. Cathie Wood, from ARK Invest, forecasts $200,000 to $250,000 in 2025, and not as a ceiling, but as a base for an optimistic scenario. Now comes the part no one talks about. And it can change everything for you. While institutions prepare for this scenario, small investors are still hesitant. Is it worth it? Isn't it too risky? But the risk, in this case, might be staying out. And here comes an uncomfortable truth. Those who start early, even with little, have an enormous advantage. You don't need to buy a whole Bitcoin. You can start with 50 Reis, 100 Reis. What matters is understanding the game and playing it consistently. Bitcoin is the kind of asset where time in the market is more valuable than timing the market. Those who enter early and hold, those who understand this is a long-term project and not a lottery, are the ones who win. As an old market proverb says, investing is transferring money from the impatient to the patient. Think with me. Imagine you start today with little, and Bitcoin, in the next 18 to 24 months, actually reaches $200,000. Even if you don't get rich overnight, what would that represent in your journey? Maybe a strengthened emergency fund. Maybe the capital needed to start a business. Maybe a kind of security your generation has never had. Because here's the big issue, the traditional system is failing. Your parents' generation bought a house with 10 years of work. Yours can barely pay rent. Inflation is eroding wages. Student debt in the United States exceeds $1.7 trillion. And the only real way out is for you to build your own freedom. That's why Bitcoin matters. Because it's not just an asset. It's a tool, a path, a symbol of financial autonomy. You don't need to trust politicians, banks, or broken systems. You need to trust math, code, scarcity, and above all, yourself. Because this journey isn't about hitting the top or becoming a professional trader. It's about having the courage to start, and the persistence to continue. And if you've understood this so far, you're already ahead of most. You've already taken the first step. Now, I want you to imagine yourself 2 years from now. In 2025, Bitcoin reaches 200,000. And you look back and ask yourself, why didn't I start earlier? But today, at this very moment, you still have time on your side. And that's the most valuable currency there is. So don't waste it. Start with what you have. Learn. Invest. Educate yourself. Because the future doesn't wait. And freedom has never been so accessible. If this video brought you clarity, share it with someone who's just starting too. Like it, leave a comment below if you believe Bitcoin will hit 200,000. And subscribe to the channel. Because this is just the first of many conversations we'll have about how to build wealth, even starting from zero. You are not alone. And the game is only beginning.